everyone, this is the video for the challenge problem for the module. What we are asked to do is first do income statements for Ressler Financial Consulting for the month ended June. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare the top of the financial statements. So we're going to put financial consulting, that it's an income statement, and then for month ended June 20, and then whatever year you like. So it's going to be set up like our typical income statements. So we have our revenue account, we have our expenses, and that would be supplies expense, wages expense, computer expenses, and then depreciation expense for the computer. Then we're going to have our total expenses, and then net income. So here's where you have to go back and look at the different types of accounts. So the book tells us that for the modified cash basis, this amount should be $7,000 and this should be $7,300. Now our job is to figure out how do we get there. So we're gonna go slowly through this. So cash collected from clients from consulting fees is $10,000. $1,500 of the $10,000 was for consulting fees earned in May but received in June. And then consulting fees earned in June but to be received in July. So there tells us the two amounts that we actually need. So for modified cash basis, it's going to be $10,000 in revenue. For the accrual basis, there's a little bit of math involved. We have our $10,000 plus the $1,500 we got. And then we're going to subtract the $2,000. And let's see what else we have, we're told. So we have supplies on hand at the beginning of the month of June was $500. All the purchases are made on account. Supplies purchased during June was $1,000. At the end of June, $600 worth of supplies were left. So we paid cash on account to suppliers during June for $800. $200 was for the supplies purchased in May. So it gives us a bunch of information all in lumps, which is going to be confusing. And depending on which method you're focusing on, it's going to be even more confusing. So if we work through the modified cash basis first, let's focus on what we're doing. So we have $600 worth of supplies unused, but we've spent, we had $500, we purchased $1,000, and then we have $600 left. So that means our supplies expense is going to be $900. And that actually is going to go for both the accrual basis and the modified cash basis. Wages expense. wages paid to an assistant of $2,000. So that is what we're going to use for the modified cash basis. Unfortunately, the accrual basis is going to be a different story. So computer expense, we purchased a laptop, we paid $1,200 in cash, and the balance will be paid in July. So since there was no usage of the computer really, we're not going to worry about putting in an amount for that. However, we do need to calculate depreciation, so we're going to have to calculate the straight line depreciation. So we paid $1,200 and it has a balance of $1,200, so we know it's a $2,400 computer divided by 2 years divided by 12 months. That gives us depreciation of $100 a month. And so that's going to be the same for both methods. And so we know the computer expense is going to be 0. And so we're going to do our total expenses. And so if you take 10,000 minus 3,000, that gives us our 7,000. So now we have to focus on the rest of what we need for the accrual basis, which is the revenue and the wages expense. So let's take a look at revenue. So we have $10,000 was earned in May but received in June, so we know we're going to have to claim that. We have $1,500 was for we won't receive until June. So we have our 10,000. We have our 10,000 minus our 1,500. And then we have consulting fees earned in June, but not to be received until July is 2,000. So we're going to add those two amounts together. So that gives us our revenue of 10,500. Now we just need to figure out our wages expense. Now, here we have the $2,000. Of this $2,000, $300 had been earned in May. In addition, the assistant earned $500 in June, which will be paid next month. And so this is where we do something similar. So we have our 2,000 minus 300 plus the 500. That gives us our revenue of 2,200. I'm sorry, our wage expense of 2,200. And then we're just going to total. And then if you take 10,500 minus 3,200, that gives you the net income of 7,300. So that is how you prepared the income. However, what the book does not tell you is you still have to complete other steps. You have to explain why the answers are what they are. Why is the revenue for the modified cash basis 10,000 and for the accrual basis to 10,500? Why is there that difference in amounts? It's going to ask you to show us in a formula form, just like how I showed you just using the calculator. You need to show me how you come up with the $900 for supplies expense. but then you also have to do T accounts. So for this one, it's going to be supplies. This one is going to be accounts payable. And the last one is going to be supplies expense. And you're going to use the T accounts to show us exactly how you got the answers. For example, we know the balance is $500. So then you're going to have to do purchases, and then you're going to have to tell us how much our expenses. You're going to have to explain how you come up with the depreciation and then revenues. There is a lot of work on this. If you get stuck, let me know. This one we're going to have cash, consulting fees, and accounts receivable. And again, you're going to do the same thing. So here we'd have supplies, and we're going to state purchases. We purchased $1,000. And then we're going to put $900. So plug 900 basically is what we've used. And that will give us the ending inventory of $600. So we know we're supposed to have $600. You just need to show how you get to that stage. And so that is what you're going to do on all of the T accounts. And in the boxes below, we're going to explain depreciation. So how you got to the depreciation for the computer. How'd you calculate that? With the accrual basis, why is it this way versus the modified cash basis? And then the last, second to last, is going to be cash, accounts receivable, and consulting fees. Oops, did that one, I'm sorry. Nope, you're going to do it again. Basically, you're giving us two different ways to get to the same answer. This part I'm not going to grade that heavily because it is confusing and it's not something we've really done before or really dealt with. And then the final would be cash, wages payable, and then wages expense. How did you arrive at the two different amounts? So just give this your best shot. If you struggle with it and you want me to look over it, let me know. But again, I'm not going to grade this that harshly just because we haven't done anything like this before. Make sure you do look through the reading because the reading does give you examples of what you need to do. Let me find the best pages for you. I thought I saw it in the chapter. Right now I can't find it, so just do your best on it. If you have any questions, let me know and I will answer them as soon as I can. And I hope you have a great day.